Hello, Ryan here, aka Mac, and welcome. So, before we get started with the new Drake ship, I just wanted to point out that the Cray Ray giveaway bonanza of December has started. The links are below. There is one currently started for a Constellation Taurus, and one for a Mustang package. We also have many more, including a Freelancer, a Cutlass, a 300i, and some Merlins, and another Mustang, which will be either given away here on YouTube, Gleam, Twitch, Twitter, all those sort of places, so be sure to follow me everywhere to keep an eye on that one. Anyway, on to the Drake ship. Now, if you didn't know, they did a happy hour, special happy hour today, or yesterday, depending on when I get this video out, talking about a new Drake design ship that we can decide upon. Now, they did kind of have 3 ideas, but they also added 3 more ideas, so I will just talk through what we saw and what we can expect to see. Now, these ideas are just how they start concepting. They're not confirmed ideas. Many of these comments do actually contradict the other thoughts, so they won't all work on one ship. It's more of an insight into how ships are brought to life. They're kind of spitballing ideas more than anything. Anyway, the 3 options for ships. Number 1 was the entry-level salvage ship called the Vulture. I will let you know a blurb for each ship before I move on. The Multicrew Constellation Competitor, or a viewer's choice, which was actually a scout carrier style capital size ship. Starting with the first one, it is the Vulture, which is an entry-level salvage ship. It is a one-man salvage starter. There are no drones, plenty of storage for things like EVA equipment, and separate areas for collection and sorting out the materials you scrap. There's no tractor beams. Again, it's EVA. There's no claws. You have to go out yourself and actually use tools to do this. It's small enough to sneak into areas unnoticed and salvage items. It's not a stealth ship, but it's very small. It's good for grabbing intact items like weapons, components, rather than scrapping all the metal you find. It'll need to have access to the cargo hold quite quick, so you can throw stuff in the back. It's likely going to have some form of bike-style cockpit for quick entry and exit. Maybe the potential to jettison cargo to help you get away quick, which would also cause a good distraction in my thoughts. Some of the salvage tools could be used as FPS weapons. Maybe a handheld laser cutter could be used as a weapon. But Drake's aesthetic feels like you're in sort of an unfinished construction site. They don't care about comfort. They care about getting the job done, so it does fit very well with the Drake family. Anyway, the next one was the Multicrew Constellation Competitor. This is a rough and ready Multicrew Explorer style ship, although they did sort of debate this Explorer style. It's crude and basic compared to the 600i and has a lower missile count compared to the Constellation, but it does have a 3rd turret, and it can carry some vehicles. It's fast and it's nimble. They were thinking along the lines of a broadside ship. It doesn't have to shoot forwards. It can have like maybe a 360-degree view with all the turrets, which would likely sit on top. But you could also line all 3 turrets up at the same time and fire, giving a great amount of firepower. Definitely going to be more maneuverable than the Caterpillar. Vehicle-wise, it could be something new, maybe something bigger with Gravlev vehicles, although that's a little too fancy for Drake, so potentially a wheeled vehicle, but something Sherman said, which I really, really like, is maybe a tracked vehicle with a flatbed-style carrying, where you could also deploy a turret on board. This would obviously need cargo space, but the names they had for it are something along the terms of Corsair, Hammer, or Monarch. I think Corsair won the vote for that one. But it's something different, a 2 to 3 person ship, more nimble, more weapons than the Caterpillar. Anyway, the 3rd choice was the winner's choice or selection. They got to choose between a scout carrier, something called the Starlifter, and a medium storage runner. Now, the scout carrier, which was the winner, is a capital ship. It stores ships up to Freelancer size and carries them around the verse. It's a cap ship size, but it's not a military style ship like the Idris. It's got the ability to carry more vehicles with much less weaponry, so no railgun, probably no missiles or not many turrets. The ships that you carry are more its defense, built for moving vehicles. The opening to get the ships in would be very large to allow the big ships to land inside, and then potentially landing pads along the side to carry other ships. People do need vehicles moving around space, so you could potentially pay the owner of the ship to move or transport your ships from A to B. But also it could be a very good fleet mover if you own a lot of ships. This is a good way of storing them on board one ship and moving it as one unit. It is also a good place to maybe fly down, drop off your cargo and your findings or whatever, and then take off again while the crew on board the carrier processes all the items you've dropped. Now, the potential name that they voted for here was the Kraken. The other option for the viewers was the Starlifter. This is transporting ground vehicles from space to ground, nothing else. So it holds maybe a couple of the largest vehicles or multiple of the small vehicles. So they did actually hint there to larger ground vehicles, which are coming. Think more of like a heli vehicle transporter using tractor beams instead, like a vehicle dropship, having multiple small vehicles and again less large ones, but maybe even moving outposts. Potentially, again, it's only spitballing. All of this is just spitballing while they design it. It will likely be quite large as it needs to carry multiple sort of Ursa rovers potentially, and they want it to have some width rather than length like you see with a Caterpillar. But it would be cool, they said, if you could just drop the vehicles off and then keep moving and sort of deploy them in a military fashion. But also it could have the potential to carry cargo boxes. It would be cool. Elwin said if you could suck and steal cargo using the tractor beams. So maybe a bit of a thieving ship or maybe not. We'll see. But anyway, the third option was a medium storage runner. So this is kind of the herald of cargo running. It's got big engine, about the SCU size of an Avenger or a Cutlass, but getting goods from A to B really quickly. It's not going to be tiny, maybe a couple of seats, but with really large oversized engines to get you going fast in a straight line and getting cargo done quick. Not many weapons either, similar to an oversized rocket in shape with a cargo hold. It'll have to be symmetrical to make it move fast. It could potentially have some anti-interdiction tech to help it along, maybe some extra shielding for protection. But it can transport potentially data, cargo, or people. The interior may need to be swapped out to switch between them, or it could be all done in one. But I like the idea of having people transported fast. That's a cool idea. Anyway, the actual vote will be going on the website later today. It will be between the Vulture Salvager, the small single-man salvager ship, the Multicrew Constellation-style ship, and the Scout Carrier. Jared is typing that up now, so expect to see that post on the website soon where you will be able to vote, and then they'll start creating it. I will be voting for the salvage ship. I really like the idea of this. I would rather see a more medium-sized multi-crew ship than a single solo ship, but it is necessary, kind of like what we see in Star Wars, where it opens up with Rey going from derelict to derelict, sort of scrapping what she can find. I like the idea of that. Anyway, to finish off, just because one ship got chosen doesn't mean the rest won't be done as well. This is just prioritizing the next Drake concept ship. We will likely see these designs come to life eventually. To cover all ground of the game, many more ships need to be created in all areas, so expect to see a hell of a lot more ships coming in the next few years anyway. Let me know what your favourite is. I would love to know. Remember to check the links below for the giveaways. There's so many giveaways coming in December. Big thank you to Ray. A link to his channel is also in the description. Thank you so much for watching. Be sure to follow me here on YouTube, Twitch, Twitter and Instagram, and I shall see you next time.